Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world where every person hides their true self. A world where people walk through life with their heads down, afraid to speak their truth, afraid to show their kindness, afraid to share their gifts. In such a world, the streets may still be full, the cities may still be bright, but something essential would be missing: the warmth of courage, the quiet power of compassion, the light that only a human soul can bring. Now open your eyes and understand. Something very important. This world does not suffer because of darkness alone. It suffers because many people who carry light within them choose to hide it. You may think that your presence is small. You may believe that your voice does not matter. But the truth is very different. Every human being carries a spark, a unique energy, a presence that no one else on this earth can replace. The question is not whether you have light. The question is whether you will allow it to shine. Your uniqueness is not a weakness but a powerful gift. Most people walk through life believing that they must fit into a mold someone else has made. They compare themselves to others, measuring their worth against accomplishments, looks, or social status, and in doing so, they diminish the very thing that makes them extraordinary. But the truth is, no one else in the history of the world has the combination of experiences, thoughts, and abilities that you have. The way you see the world, the way your mind interprets challenges, the way your heart feels joy, pain, love, and empathy, these are irreplaceable. These are the colors in your palette that no one else possesses. When you start to see yourself as a unique being with a gift to offer, everything changes. You no longer see your differences as reasons to hide. You begin to recognize them as tools, as keys that unlock doors not just for yourself but for others. Think about the moments in life when you have witnessed someone doing something in a way only they could. It might have been a teacher explaining a concept that finally made sense, a friend comforting you exactly when you needed it, or even a stranger showing a small act of kindness in a way that touched you deeply. None of these experiences could have happened if that person had tried to imitate someone else. Their uniqueness was the vehicle of their impact, and in the same way, your individual perspective, your approach to challenges, your quirks and passions, they are the very things that the world needs. When you try to conform, when you hide who you are to fit in, the world loses a piece of the brilliance that only you can provide. Recognizing your uniqueness is also about embracing your past, with all its mistakes and triumphs. Every challenge you have faced, every mistake you have made, every moment of doubt or failure has shaped you. And those experiences are part of your gift. They give you empathy for others who struggle, insight into problems that seem impossible, and resilience that cannot be taught in a classroom or read in a book. The way you have navigated life so far equips you with something no one else has: a perspective that is entirely yours. When you embrace that fully, you stop seeing your past as a source of shame or regret and start seeing it as the foundation of your power. It is also essential to understand that uniqueness is not about being loud or standing out in ways the world expects. It is about authenticity. It is about allowing your true self to guide your actions, your decisions, and your contributions. Some people think that they must perform grand gestures or make headlines to be valuable, but true impact comes from authenticity. When you act in alignment with your values, when you honor your inner voice instead of mimicking the expectations of society, you create a sense of self-trust and self-worth. You create a presence that draws others naturally. People are inspired by those who live fully as themselves because it reminds them that they too have permission to shine in their own way. Your uniqueness also connects you to your purpose. There are ideas, solutions, and expressions that only you can bring into the world. There are challenges that only your mind can solve, problems that only your heart can empathize with, creativity that only your soul can produce. Every person has a role to play, and the more you embrace your individual gifts, the more effective you become in fulfilling that role. When you stop hiding and start sharing, you create ripple effects that extend far beyond what you might imagine. A single act of courage, a single idea expressed from the truth of who you are, can inspire countless others to recognize their own light. But embracing your uniqueness is not always easy. It requires courage, because the world often rewards conformity and punishes difference. People may criticize, misunderstand, or even attempt to discourage you. You may feel isolated or out of place. These are not signs that your uniqueness is wrong. They are proof that you are stepping into your own power. Every great innovator, every compassionate leader, every transformative artist faced moments when they could have chosen to hide, to blend in, or to pretend to be someone else. What set them apart was their willingness to honor the gift within themselves despite fear or opposition. So begin with small steps. Notice what makes you different and celebrate it. Reflect on the skills, insights, and passions that are uniquely yours. Practice expressing them in your work, your relationships, and your daily life. Let yourself make mistakes in the process, because each misstep is part of the journey to fully embodying your gift. Surround yourself with people who encourage authenticity rather than conformity. Read, learn, and explore in ways that resonate with your curiosity rather than society's expectations. Over time, you will see that embracing your uniqueness does not isolate you, it frees you. When you fully understand that your uniqueness is a powerful gift, you begin to act with confidence and clarity. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop waiting for permission to express your truth. You step into your life fully, offering your light to the world without apology. And in doing so, you create space for others to do the same, multiplying the impact exponentially. Your gift is not just for yourself. It is for everyone whose life you touch, directly or indirectly. And so the journey begins when you decide to honor the brilliance that only you possess. Never doubt that what makes you different is exactly what the world is waiting for. Your light is necessary, and it is time to let it shine. Courage grows only when you step forward despite fear. This is one of the most profound truths about human life, yet so many people misunderstand it. They think courage is the absence of fear, but the reality is very different. Fear is inevitable. It is the mind's natural response to the unknown, the untested, the uncertain. Every single person experiences it in different ways: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of making a mistake. The question is not whether fear exists. The question is whether you will allow it to control you, or whether you will move forward in spite of it. True courage is born the moment you decide to act even when your body and mind are screaming that it is dangerous, impossible, or uncomfortable. When you look at the lives of people who have made meaningful impact, you notice one thing: they did not start fearless. They started with fear. They doubted themselves, questioned their abilities, and hesitated. But they also made a choice. They chose to honor something deeper than their fear: a calling, a purpose, a truth. And in that decision to step forward, fear began to transform. It did not disappear entirely, but it became fuel rather than an obstacle. Each act of courage builds upon the last. Every time you face fear and take action, your capacity to act grows stronger. Courage, like a muscle, strengthens only through repeated use. Courage is not limited to grand heroic moments. It is not always about standing on a stage, leading a movement, or risking life and limb. Most of the courage that truly shapes lives happens quietly, in small, consistent actions. It is the courage to speak honestly when it is easier to remain silent. It is the courage to set boundaries when it is easier to appease. It is the courage to admit mistakes, to forgive yourself, and to continue learning. It is the courage to pursue dreams, even when people tell you it is impractical, or even impossible. Each small act of courage chips away at the chains of fear and self-doubt, and over time, a person who consistently steps forward becomes unstoppable in their ability to face challenges. Fear often disguises itself as comfort. It tells you to stay where you are, to settle for what is safe, to avoid risk. And in doing so, it steals from you the experiences that could transform your life. The paradox is that stepping into fear is not reckless, it is the most thoughtful and intentional form of living. Fear signals opportunity. It signals growth. The very things that scare you are often the things you are meant to confront to expand into your fullest potential. Avoiding fear may bring temporary relief, but it guarantees stagnation. Courage, on the other hand, brings freedom. It frees you from the prison of your own limitations, and it opens doors to possibilities that were previously unimaginable. One of the keys to cultivating courage is understanding that failure is not the opposite of courage, it is part of it. Every courageous act carries the risk of falling short, of being misunderstood, of encountering resistance. But falling short does not diminish your bravery. In fact, it validates it. When you fail while trying, you are practicing courage. You are proving to yourself that you are willing to act, despite uncertainty. And every lesson learned through those failures strengthens the foundation of future courage. The world does not reward perfection. It rewards action, persistence, and the willingness to face fear head-on. Courage is also contagious. When you act bravely, even in small ways, you inspire others to do the same. A person who speaks up for what is right can give another person the confidence to speak up as well. A person who pursues a difficult goal despite fear can motivate countless others to take action in their own lives. The ripple effect of courage cannot be measured because it spreads silently through example, touching hearts, shifting mindsets, and creating environments where fear is acknowledged but no longer allowed to dictate choices. Every act of courage matters, no matter how small it seems in the moment. To cultivate courage, you must learn to sit with discomfort. You must train yourself to recognize fear without letting it paralyze you. Meditation, reflection and awareness of your inner dialogue are powerful tools for this. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? What is the cost of inaction? Often, the answers reveal that fear is more illusion than reality. And even when the worst-case scenario is real, courage allows you to face it with grace, creativity, and resilience. Courage is not impulsive, it is deliberate. It is rooted in awareness and the knowledge that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Ultimately, courage is inseparable from purpose. The deeper your understanding of why you are here, the stronger your courage becomes. When your actions align with your truth, when your heart is invested in something meaningful, fear loses its power to stop you. You discover that fear can coexist with action, and that the act of moving forward despite fear transforms not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Stepping into fear again and again reveals a profound truth. Courage is not about being fearless. It is about trusting yourself enough to move forward no matter what. Each time you do, your light shines a little brighter, and the world becomes a little warmer. Courage is not a destination, it is a practice. And your willingness to step forward today despite fear is the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Self-awareness is the foundation of real strength. It is the quiet, often overlooked power that allows a person to live intentionally rather than reactively. Most people move through life as if on autopilot, carried along by habits, external expectations, and the noise of the world. They respond to situations without fully understanding why. They make decisions without pausing to reflect on their values, and they often allow the opinions of others to define their sense of worth. True strength begins when you stop simply existing and start observing yourself with clarity and honesty. Self-awareness is not about judgment, it is about understanding. It is about looking within, recognizing your thoughts, emotions, and patterns, and learning how to respond rather than simply react. When you cultivate self-awareness, you begin to recognize your triggers, your strengths, and your weaknesses. You see the moments when fear or ego or insecurity might take control, and you gain the ability to pause before acting. This pause is where power resides. In that space between stimulus and response, you can choose an action that aligns with your deeper purpose instead of giving into impulses that may lead you astray. The world rewards action, but it honors mindful action even more. People who possess self-awareness do not act recklessly or carelessly. They act with precision, intention, and impact because they understand the source of their choices. Self-awareness also allows you to understand your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Life will inevitably present challenges, moments of stress, disappointment, or conflict. In those moments, many people lose themselves, allowing frustration or anger to dictate their behavior. But when you are aware of your emotional state, you can observe it without letting it control you. You can acknowledge your feelings, understand why they are arising, and respond in a way that serves both yourself and those around you. Emotional self-awareness is not weakness, it is courage. It requires honesty and humility to face yourself fully, but it also equips you to navigate life with grace and resilience. Beyond personal clarity, self-awareness strengthens relationships. When you understand your own motives, fears, and needs, you communicate more effectively. You empathize with others because you have experienced your own inner complexities. People are drawn to those who are conscious of themselves because they bring authenticity into every interaction. A self-aware person does not manipulate, blame, or hide behind masks. They are present, engaged, and trustworthy. Their energy has a stabilizing effect, and their light encourages others to awaken their own self-understanding. Self-awareness also illuminates your purpose. Many people drift through life, feeling lost or disconnected, because they have never taken the time to examine what truly matters to them. They chase external validation, societal markers of success, or the expectations of others, hoping these things will bring fulfillment. But fulfillment is not found in imitation, it is discovered in alignment. When you become aware of your values, passions, and gifts, you can make choices that resonate with your authentic self. Purpose is born from this alignment, and purpose fuels action with clarity and conviction. Without self-awareness, purpose is a vague idea. With self-awareness, purpose becomes a living, guiding force. Developing self-awareness is a lifelong practice. It is not a single revelation or a fixed state, it is continuous observation and reflection. Journaling, meditation, mindful breathing, and honest conversations with yourself or trusted confidants are all tools that help cultivate this awareness. Each day offers opportunities to pause, reflect, and course correct. Self-awareness grows through practice, patience, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. You may uncover parts of yourself you do not like or patterns that have limited you. These discoveries are not failures, they are invitations to grow. Recognizing them allows you to consciously choose who you want to become rather than being unconsciously shaped by habits and circumstance. Another powerful aspect of self-awareness is its ability to reveal your impact on the world. When you are aware of how your words, actions, and presence affect others, you gain the ability to act with intentional influence. You realize that your energy ripples outward and that by cultivating your inner life, you shape the world around you in subtle but profound ways. Self-awareness bridges the gap between internal understanding and external contribution. It teaches you that true strength is not only in personal mastery, but in the conscious application of that mastery for the benefit of others. Ultimately, self-awareness transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. It allows you to recognize patterns, understand motives, and act with intention. It gives you freedom from automatic reactions, courage to face your vulnerabilities, and clarity to pursue your purpose. It strengthens your presence and amplifies your light. Without self-awareness, your talents, gifts, and courage can be scattered or misdirected. With it, every step you take resonates with meaning, every decision reflects your truth, and every action becomes a contribution to the world in its highest form. When you fully embrace self-awareness, you realize that real strength is not measured by control over others or external achievements. It is measured by mastery over yourself and alignment with your deepest truth. And in that mastery, your light shines brighter than ever before. Kindness is a quiet force that can transform lives. It is not loud or showy, yet its impact is profound and far-reaching. Many people underestimate the power of small acts of kindness, thinking that only grand gestures or monumental achievements can create change. But in reality, it is the subtle, consistent expressions of compassion, empathy, and generosity that ripple through the world, touching hearts in ways we may never fully see. A simple smile, a listening ear, a word of encouragement, or a thoughtful action can lift someone out of despair, restore hope, and remind them that they are not alone. Kindness is not weakness, it is strength expressed with grace, patience, and understanding. When you choose kindness, you choose to act from a place of awareness rather than reaction. The world often presents situations that provoke anger, impatience, or fear. People behave unpredictably, circumstances may challenge your expectations, and life can feel unfair. In those moments, it is easy to respond harshly or withdraw into yourself. But kindness calls you to pause, to consider the perspective of others, and to respond in a way that nurtures rather than harms. It requires inner strength to respond with patience when provoked, to offer understanding when judgment would be easier, and to extend help when you might feel drained. Every act of kindness is a conscious choice, a demonstration of mastery over your impulses and a reflection of your inner light. Kindness also has a profound effect on your own well-being. When you act with genuine compassion, your brain releases chemicals that reduce stress and increase feelings of happiness and connection. The practice of kindness rewires your perspective, allowing you to notice beauty in ordinary moments, to feel gratitude, and to experience deeper empathy for yourself and others. The world may often seem harsh and unforgiving, but when you cultivate kindness within, you create an inner sanctuary that remains unshaken by external chaos. It is a force that strengthens your resilience, nurtures your spirit, and enhances your ability to contribute positively to the lives around you. Beyond personal benefits, kindness creates a ripple effect that can transform entire communities. When one person chooses to act with genuine care, it inspires others to do the same. One gesture can influence countless others in ways that are unseen but profoundly felt. A teacher who shows patience to a struggling student may spark a lifetime of confidence. A stranger who offers a helping hand may restore someone's faith in humanity. A leader who acts with fairness and integrity may set a standard that elevates an entire organization. Kindness spreads silently yet powerfully, proving that no act of compassion is ever wasted. True kindness does not seek recognition. It does not demand acknowledgement or applause. Its essence lies in selfless giving, in acting because it is the right thing to do, rather than because it will benefit you in return. In a world where validation is often sought externally, choosing selfless kindness strengthens your character. It teaches humility, patience, and the joy of contributing without expectation. The more you practice this form of generosity, the more naturally it becomes part of your life, shaping your interactions and influencing the energy you bring into the world. Kindness is also transformative in challenging relationships. It can dissolve tension, build trust, and bridge divides where words alone may fail. When people act with empathy, they create space for understanding, healing, and reconciliation. It is not about ignoring wrongdoing or accepting injustice. Rather, it is about approaching others with a mindset that seeks connection rather than division. In the process, kindness has the ability to convert adversaries into allies, conflicts into opportunities for growth, and misunderstandings into deeper understanding. The practice of kindness requires courage, particularly in a world that often rewards self-interest and competition. It takes strength to prioritize the well-being of others while maintaining your own boundaries. It takes awareness to recognize when help is needed and discernment to act wisely. But each act of kindness, no matter how small, affirms your humanity and contributes to a culture of care. The cumulative effect of consistent kindness is immense, gradually transforming societies from places of indifference into communities of compassion and mutual support. Kindness also nurtures the human spirit in ways that extend far beyond immediate interactions. It reminds us that connection is at the core of existence, that life is not solely about achievement or recognition, but about the bonds we form and the love we extend. It inspires others to act in kind, encouraging them to pass on the same care they have received. The energy of kindness moves quietly but persistently, shaping a world where people feel seen, valued, and supported. When you fully embrace kindness as a guiding principle, it becomes a way of life rather than an occasional act. You begin to see opportunities to contribute, to uplift, and to heal in every interaction. Your presence becomes a source of comfort and inspiration. You realize that the world does not only need your talents, your ideas, or your courage, it needs the warmth of your heart. Kindness has the power to transform moments, people, and ultimately, the world itself. Every act of genuine kindness is a spark, and when enough sparks gather, they illuminate the darkness and remind everyone that even in the most challenging times, the human heart has the power to shine. Every failure is simply a lesson guiding you closer to wisdom. Too often, people look at failure as a reflection of their worth, as if a single setback defines who they are or determines the limits of their potential. But failure is not a verdict, it is a teacher. It is a signal from life that something needs attention, adjustment, or understanding. When you embrace failure as part of the journey, rather than a reason to quit, you begin to see that each misstep carries invaluable insight. Every mistake, every disappointment, every door that closes is an invitation to learn, to grow, and to become stronger than you were before. The first step in transforming failure into wisdom is changing your perspective. Society often teaches that success is the ultimate goal, and that failure is shameful, to be avoided at all costs. This mindset creates fear, hesitation, and the tendency to hide from challenges. But when you view failure as feedback, you unlock a new way of living. Feedback provides clarity. It highlights areas where improvement is needed, points out blind spots, and encourages creative problem solving. It reminds you that mastery is not achieved overnight and that progress is built upon repeated attempts, reflection, and refinement. Every failure contains a seed of growth, recognizing it is the mark of someone who is awake and determined to evolve. Failure also cultivates resilience. Life will inevitably challenge you. Plans will go awry, people will disappoint you, and circumstances will test your limits. Without the experience of failure, it is difficult to develop the inner strength required to withstand these moments. Resilience is forged in the fire of difficulty. Each time you fall and choose to rise again, you strengthen your ability to face future obstacles with calm, clarity, and confidence. Resilience is not the absence of struggle, it is the mastery of your response to struggle. By seeing failure as a necessary teacher, you learn not only to endure challenges but to grow because of them. Another profound lesson embedded in failure is humility. Success can create arrogance, giving the illusion that life bends to your will. Failure, on the other hand, reminds you that life is larger than your desires, that every outcome is part of a complex web of effort, timing, and circumstance. Humility born from failure allows you to approach situations with honesty, self-awareness, and openness to learning. It reminds you to seek guidance, to listen more carefully, and to recognize the contributions of others in your journey. When you embrace humility, failure becomes less a source of shame and more a guidepost, pointing toward areas where growth is possible and necessary. Failure also sharpens creativity and innovation. When something does not work, you are forced to step outside familiar patterns, explore alternative approaches, and imagine new solutions. Many of the greatest discoveries and achievements in human history were preceded by repeated failures. Each setback prompted reflection, adjustment, and experimentation, leading to breakthroughs that could not have occurred without the lessons embedded in those experiences. Failure challenges your mind to think differently, to innovate, and to rise beyond what seemed possible. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for insight and action. It is also important to recognize that failure teaches patience. Growth, wisdom, and mastery cannot be rushed. When you fail, you are reminded that life is a process, that every step matters, and that perseverance is far more valuable than speed. Patience allows you to approach challenges without desperation, to learn thoroughly from mistakes, and to build foundations that will support lasting success. The combination of patience and reflection ensures that the lessons of failure are internalized and applied, rather than ignored or forgotten. Equally significant is the way failure builds empathy. When you have faced setbacks, disappointments, and struggles, you gain a deeper understanding of what others may be experiencing. This understanding allows you to offer support, encouragement, and wisdom to those who encounter similar difficulties. Your own failures become a bridge, connecting you to the struggles of others and amplifying the impact of your presence in their lives. You recognize that every person is on a journey of learning, and you approach them with compassion rather than judgment. The final lesson of failure is the reminder of your own courage. Every time you take a risk and act despite uncertainty, even if the outcome is not what you hoped for, you demonstrate bravery. Courage is not measured by success alone, it is measured by the willingness to try, to fall, and to rise again. When you understand this, failure loses its sting and becomes a natural part of the path forward. Each failure is proof that you are stepping into life fully, that you are moving toward your purpose, and that your light cannot be dimmed by temporary setbacks. When you fully embrace the lessons of failure, you stop fearing it. You see it as an essential guide, a silent teacher leading you toward wisdom, resilience, humility, creativity, patience, empathy, and courage. Each mistake becomes a stepping stone, each setback a push toward growth. The world does not reward perfection. It rewards persistence, learning, and the ability to rise stronger after falling. And so, failure is not something to be avoided. It is the compass that guides you to your highest self. Each time you face it, reflect on it, and move forward, You move closer to the person you were meant to become. Discipline builds the inner power needed to fulfill your purpose. It is the quiet force that turns intention into action, dreams into reality, and potential into achievement. Without discipline, even the brightest ideas remain unfulfilled, even the strongest talents go underdeveloped, and even the deepest desires fade into mere wishes. Discipline is not about punishment or restriction. It is about structure, consistency, and the commitment to act in alignment with your goals and values, regardless of temporary discomfort, distraction, or desire for immediate gratification. It is the bridge between knowing what you want and actually achieving it. At its core, discipline is a choice. Every day, in countless moments, you are presented with options. To follow the path that feels easy or the one that leads to growth. To act with intention or drift with habit. To stay committed or give in to temptation. Discipline is the decision to take the harder but more rewarding path. The choice to show up even when motivation fades. And the willingness to persist when results are not immediately visible. Motivation is fleeting, it ebbs and flows like the tide. Discipline, however, is constant. It is the anchor that ensures your actions continue to align with your purpose even when circumstances are challenging or your enthusiasm wanes. Discipline is also a form of self-respect. When you honor your commitments, your time, and your priorities, you reinforce your own value. You demonstrate to yourself that your goals matter, that your growth is important, and that your life is worth investing in. This internal respect strengthens confidence and reinforces the belief that you are capable of achieving what you set out to do. Conversely, when discipline is absent, self-doubt grows, distractions take over, and your sense of control diminishes. The consistency of disciplined action fosters self-trust, which is the foundation of all meaningful accomplishment. Another essential aspect of discipline is focus. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to scatter your energy across countless activities, thoughts, and obligations. Without focus, even the most talented individuals struggle to make progress. Discipline trains your mind to prioritize, to direct energy toward what truly matters, and to resist the allure of the trivial or unproductive. This focused approach magnifies the impact of your actions, allowing you to achieve more in less time and with less wasted effort. Over time, disciplined focus transforms small, consistent steps into exponential growth, compounding your abilities and results. Discipline also strengthens resilience. Life inevitably presents obstacles, unexpected challenges, and moments of frustration or fatigue. Without discipline, it is easy to give up when progress is slow or circumstances are difficult. But disciplined individuals develop the capacity to persist through discomfort, to keep moving toward their goals even when the path is uncertain or arduous. This persistence is what separates temporary effort from lasting achievement. Each disciplined action, no matter how small, builds stamina and reinforces the belief that you can overcome obstacles and continue toward your purpose. It is also important to recognize that discipline is not a rigid or joyless practice. True discipline is flexible, adaptive, and rooted in intention rather than compulsion. It allows you to adjust strategies, refine approaches, and maintain balance while staying committed to your overarching purpose. It is not about denying yourself completely, it is about choosing actions that serve your long-term vision over short-term convenience. When discipline is understood in this way, it becomes a source of freedom rather than limitation. You are free from the chaos of inconsistency and the regret of neglected potential. Discipline cultivates mastery. Whatever skill, habit, or practice you wish to develop, repeated and consistent effort is required. Talent alone is insufficient without the structure to refine it. Discipline ensures that practice continues, that routines are followed, and that learning accumulates over time. The artist, the athlete, the thinker, and the leader all share one trait: disciplined application. Mastery is not achieved in bursts of inspiration, but in the accumulation of deliberate, repeated, and consistent actions. Discipline provides the framework for that accumulation, turning potential into skill and skill into excellence. Finally, discipline aligns you with your purpose. Knowledge, talent, and intention are not enough without action. Discipline ensures that your actions reflect your deepest goals and values, creating a life of coherence and fulfillment. It is the internal engine that transforms abstract desires into tangible reality. When you combine self-awareness, courage, kindness, resilience, and the willingness to learn from failure with disciplined action, your light becomes unstoppable. Discipline does not merely support your purpose, it amplifies it, enabling you to contribute your gifts to the world in ways that are consistent, reliable, and deeply meaningful. When you embrace discipline as a guiding principle, you begin to see it not as restriction but as empowerment. You recognize that every small, consistent effort strengthens your ability to act with clarity, purpose, and impact. You understand that the habits you cultivate today shape the person you become tomorrow. Discipline builds the internal power that allows you to navigate life with focus, resilience, and intentionality, creating the conditions for your light to shine fully. Your purpose is waiting for you, and discipline is the force that carries you toward it with strength, consistency, and unwavering commitment. Even the smallest light can guide someone lost in darkness. Often, we think that our actions or our presence must be monumental to make a difference, that if we cannot change the world in a single moment, we are powerless. But the truth is very different. A single candle in a pitch-black room is enough to show the path. A kind word at the right moment can lift a spirit weighed down by despair. A patient gesture can spark hope in someone who has long forgotten it exists. Small actions, when offered consistently and sincerely, create ripples that extend far beyond what we can immediately see. Every effort matters because even the tiniest light has the power to illuminate someone's way. It is important to remember that people often underestimate the impact of their presence. You may feel insignificant, ordinary, or unnoticed, but your existence alone carries value. Every interaction you have, every word you speak, and every action you take touches someone's life in ways that may never be fully visible. A smile, a listening ear, or a gesture of encouragement might be the lifeline someone desperately needs. When you embrace the idea that your life, no matter how small, can matter to others, you shift from living for yourself alone to contributing consciously to the world around you. Even the smallest light carries influence because it provides clarity. Darkness obscures not only vision but also hope. When someone is struggling with doubt, fear, or uncertainty, they may not see a way forward. Your willingness to show up, to act with integrity, or to offer support can illuminate a path that was invisible before. It reminds people that they are not alone, that someone cares, and that moving forward is possible. Light, no matter how modest, carries guidance, comfort, and reassurance. By choosing to let your light shine, you create a safe space for others to step out of their own shadows. Small actions also have the power to inspire. When others witness even the quietest acts of courage, kindness, or integrity, they feel permission to act in the same way. Inspiration is contagious, and it often begins with something so simple that it seems almost insignificant. Yet, those small sparks build momentum over time. A single gesture can ripple outward, influencing countless lives, creating a chain reaction of positive energy. The world does not always need grand displays of heroism, it needs people willing to shine consistently, steadily, and authentically. It is also essential to understand that even small lights are often persistent. Life can be dark for long stretches, and the challenges people face can feel overwhelming. One brief act may not solve everything, but repeated small lights create constancy and reliability. When you consistently act with care, courage, and presence, your influence compounds. Those around you begin to notice, and even when it seems invisible, the impact is accumulating. Small lights are patient and enduring, reminding us that consistency often matters more than magnitude. The power of the smallest light lies in its accessibility. You do not need extraordinary resources, fame, or recognition to illuminate someone's path. The light you carry is your presence, your empathy, your actions, and your choices. Everyone has the ability to offer it. You can listen when someone feels unheard, offer a hand when someone stumbles, or speak words of encouragement when someone is doubting themselves. These are not grand gestures, but they are profoundly transformative. They are reminders that influence and impact are not reserved for the few. They belong to anyone willing to step into the world with awareness and care. Small lights also teach humility. You do not always see the full impact of your actions. The person you encourage today may carry that inspiration for months or years without telling you. The act itself is enough. Humility allows you to act without expectation, trusting that the energy you contribute will spread, even if you never witness its full effect. In this way, your light becomes a selfless force, guided by intention rather than recognition, and capable of reaching places your mind cannot measure. Finally, even the smallest light reminds us of the interconnectedness. Life is a shared journey, and no one walks it entirely alone. By choosing to shine, you not only illuminate your own path, but also help others find theirs. You create a world where people feel seen, supported, and inspired. Every small light strengthens the collective glow of humanity, proving that when enough people choose to contribute their presence, courage, and kindness, even the darkest spaces are transformed. When you fully embrace the idea that no light is too small to matter, you begin to act differently. You stop waiting for perfect conditions or grand opportunities. You start sharing what you have now, wherever you are, with whoever is present. You recognize that your life is a series of moments, each offering the chance to illuminate, to guide, and to inspire. Even in the face of uncertainty, fear, or doubt, your light matters. And so, remember always that no effort is too small, no gesture too modest, and no person too ordinary. Even the tiniest light can create hope, guidance, and transformation in someone's life, and the world is waiting for yours to shine. As we come to the close of this journey together, remember that the world is waiting for your light. Every spark within you, your uniqueness, your courage, your self-awareness, your kindness, your willingness to learn from failure, your discipline, and your ability to shine even in the smallest ways matters more than you realize. Life does not require perfection, it requires presence. It does not demand grand gestures. It seeks consistent, sincere action from hearts willing to contribute. When you embrace who you truly are and let your light shine, you become a source of inspiration, hope, and transformation for everyone around you. So step forward with confidence. Move through life with purpose. Trust in your abilities and in the value of your presence. Know that each day offers a chance to make a difference, to guide, to uplift, and to illuminate the path for others. The world does not just need another person, it needs your light, your authenticity, and your courage to shine brightly. Good luck as you take these lessons into your life. May your journey be filled with growth, impact, and joy. Thank you for allowing me to share this moment with you and for choosing to be the light that the world so desperately needs.